The Takeover versus the Technician goes down tomorrow night, Thursday, February 8th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Main card is set to get underway at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then the main event is set to get underway at 11 p.m. Eastern. The card will be streamed on ESPN Plus, and if you're in the UK, it'll be on Sky Sports. Now for the undercard, that will be streamed at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm on the West Coast, so it says 3:25, but it'll be at 6:25 Eastern. The card itself is a really good card for a Thursday night. Love some Thursday night boxing. These three fights here, these are all early prelims. There was no lines for those. Javier Martinez versus Raul Salomon. That's going to be a good battle. I think that Javier is going to edge out a decision there. Sheehy versus Abdel Sauceda. I think that Sheehy is a highly touted amateur. From what I could tell, there's a decent amount of hype around this kid. Sheehy was a pretty decorated amateur. Here's his Team USA boxing profile. Only bad thing I could pick out of this is that he's a 49ers fan, and unfortunately they're going to lose on Sunday. As good as he is, and as unimpressed as I was with Sauceda, I think that Sauceda is going to be able to last over 4.5 rounds. So that's kind of how I see this going. I think that Sheehy should get the knockout, but this is his first 8-rounder too. So who knows if the plan is to start getting rounds under his belt. I like the over 4.5 there. And then we have the best young prospect in boxing, Abdullah Mason, taking on Ben Gurment. Southpaw versus Southpaw, going to be a close stance matchup. This is the first 8-rounder for both of these fighters. Ben, man, it looks like he started boxing when he was a little older. He's 31. Looks like he's in the gym a lot. Looks like he's in shape. He's an Army vet. If we look at his Instagram, he stays in shape. He stays in the gym. He's an Army vet. He's a part-time runner. We could see he had some posts in here where it showed he was running marathons, and cardio is not going to be an issue for this guy. But Abdullah Mason is just going to be levels ahead. Man, we could do a quick side-by-side here. I'll try not to get this video flagged. Abdullah Mason is just pretty much perfect everywhere. Pretty much perfect everywhere, man. Gurment's tough. He's got a Mexican style. He's heavy on this front foot. Heavy on that front foot. He comes forward, high guard, and yeah, I mean, he just kind of throws looping shots. The best way I could describe this is that he started training a few years ago, and he was looking at Canelo style and said, I want to be like Canelo. You look, so we can see that he's leaning over his front foot, level change, and then he didn't throw it that time, but he likes to level change, feint, throw wide looping uppercut, looping hook, like power shots, but he's just too slow. He's just too slow, and he's too slow to react to defensively. So he's in this. He's most of the time he's walking forward in this high guard, and I mean, we can see it right here. Abdullah Mason is just going to pick his high guard apart, man. He's just going to be coming right down the pipe, level changing angles on him. Yeah, man. And Abdullah Mason is just lightning quick, and he has pop on every shot, dude. This kid is the real deal, man. This kid is the real deal. It's future undisputed champ right here. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple, man. Abdullah Mason's going to stop this dude. Like, it's only a matter of time. I think this guy's tough. He is in good shape. Sounds like he has a lot of motivation going into this fight. I don't rank Montana Love highly or anything, but he's getting sparring with Montana Love. He said that he saw Mason in the gym one time. They didn't really say nothing to each other. I say that to say this. I think that Abdullah Mason's going to put him out, but I think that it's going over 4.5. Now that's going to be a very sweaty bet, because Abdullah Mason from the start, even in round 1, Abdullah Mason is just super accurate, super fast. As soon as you get in range, he is going to crack your ass. So Mason, KO. This is the first 8-rounder for Mason. He's got some extra time. I think he's going to take his time so that we're going to see this over 4.5. Ben is just too basic. He's too slow. There's not enough weapons at his disposal. Abdullah Mason is just sharp, better everywhere. And here's a look at the face-offs. So they're pretty similar in size, so that's going to be interesting too. But like I said, man, Abdullah's just going to pick him apart. Next up, we got Keyshawn Davis, the businessman, versus former 2-division world champ, Jose Pedraza. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple, man. I mean, Jose Pedraza is on the back end of his career. He's now kind of in a gatekeeper role, and I think that the fight between him and Richard Comey was the fight for who's going to get another shot and who's going to become the designated gatekeeper. I think Pedraza is filling that role right now because now he's facing an up-and-comer, Keyshawn Davis, who's very good. His last fight with Nahir Albright was pretty close. I think that he did win that decision. I think that was fair, but I think it was also think that it was pretty close. That got overturned because of marijuana, which is whatever. Here's how I'm taking this fight, man. I think that Keyshawn's going to win a decision, but we're just going to play it safe. I think that Keyshawn's going to win a decision. If we look at their last 3 fights, Albright went the distance, Patera went the distance, Anthony Giga 9th round knockout, 10-rounder went the distance, 10-rounder went the distance, 12-rounder went the distance. I think that the spot here is over 8.5. So that's going to be the next leg on my parlay. Yeah, that gets our parlay to -143. And let's move on to the main event and the last leg. So I think there's some recency bias with Teofimo Lopez. He looked really good his last fight versus Josh Taylor. He was actually a slight underdog and he ended up winning. Everyone had counted him out because of mental issues and this and that. Look, I think these guys are very similar in style. And I think that one thing that they have in common is that when this turns into a firefight, someone's going to get dropped. Lopez was dropped against Sandor Martin, dropped against Cambosos. Damn near every Ortiz fight that I've watched, he either got buzzed, rocked, or dropped. Antonio Moran was buzzing him multiple times throughout that fight. His fight versus Adorno, I was surprised that they ended up being a draw, but yeah, man, Ortiz was down in the 2nd round, the 7th round. I think that there's some recency bias with Teofimo because he's a -700 favorite, and that's a little too chalky for my liking, man. I think that Ortiz could be live here. Ortiz can drop Lopez, and I think that Teo can drop Ortiz too. That being said, I think it does go the distance. Instead of picking a side, because I think this is going to be extremely close, I think the bet to make is either fighter to be knocked down, and that's at pick'em odds. I couldn't believe that. So actually for no knockdowns is -125. I think that line should at least be flipped at a minimum when both of these guys have been knocked down multiple times in their career and they both have similar styles and they both have a point to prove. Someone to get knocked down is a very good bet. This is a bet that you can even play straight up. Now, if we want to do a long shot, we could do this. Main event, yes, distance. Keyshawn Davis, decision. Abdullah Mason, KO. Charlie Sheehy, over 4.5. Javier Martinez, decision. And then Acosta versus Tellez. I think it's going distance. That gets it up to +889. I mean, if you want some fun, just want to throw together a long shot, that's probably what I would look at. The thing that's keeping me off from picking a side on Acosta versus Tellez is this line movement right here. So Acosta actually opened up a heavier favorite in the -300s, and he's actually -280 now. So that means that people are betting down Giron. That means that people see value on that underdog. But yeah, man, I think that Javier Martinez is going to get a decision. So Raul looks durable. This fight is too close to tell, but I think it goes decision. Charlie Sheehy, I think it's a coin flip whether he gets him out of there or not, but I lean over 4.5 rounds. Abdullah Mason KO, we already know we're on that. Keyshawn Davis, I think he gets the decision. And Teo versus Ortiz, I think that's going distance. So that's +889. I think that's a good parlay if you want action on all the bettable fights. So let me know what you guys' predictions are down below. Good luck with your bets, everybody, and enjoy those fights tomorrow.